Do you think you'll ever be queen?
No, I don't. No.
Renewed allegations surrounding the death of Princess Diana have once again captured global attention, reigniting long-held suspicions about the circumstances of her tragic demise. While the official narrative concluded that her fatal car crash in the Pont d'Alma tunnel in Paris on August 31, 1997, was caused by a combination of driver intoxication, high speed, and paparazzi pursuit, recent claims have cast doubt on this explanation. These allegations suggest that the crash may not have been a mere accident but rather the result of a sinister plot, possibly involving powerful forces within the British establishment. One of the most shocking elements of these renewed suspicions comes from Diana's own words. Shortly before her death, Diana reportedly wrote a letter to her trusted confidant, Paul Burrell, expressing fears for her safety. In this letter, she allegedly claimed that there was a plan to stage a car accident to remove her. This chilling revelation has added fuel to conspiracy theories that suggest Diana was targeted because of her outspoken nature and her controversial relationships, particularly her romance with Dodi Fayed, a man of Egyptian descent. Critics argue that such a relationship was perceived as a potential threat to the image of the monarchy, leading to speculation that Diana's life was cut short to protect the institution's reputation. The events of that fateful night have also raised questions that remain unanswered. While French authorities initially attributed the crash to the negligence of Henri Paul, the driver of the car, it later emerged that several factors complicated the official account. For instance, some witnesses reported unusual activity around the tunnel before the crash, and inconsistencies in the investigation's timeline have only deepened public mistrust. Why was the tunnel not secured after the crash? Why were key witnesses not thoroughly interviewed? These gaps in the investigation have fueled the belief that crucial details were either overlooked or deliberately concealed. The role of the paparazzi in the incident has also been a point of contention. While photographers were blamed for chasing Diana's car, causing Henri Paul to drive at high speed to evade them, some have questioned whether their actions were entirely spontaneous. Could they have been directed by someone with a vested interest in destabilizing Diana's life or controlling her narrative? The aggressive pursuit of the car and the failure of the paparazzi to assist after the crash have led to accusations that their role in the tragedy was more deliberate than it initially appeared. Adding another layer of intrigue are claims that Diana's security detail was not as robust as it should have been that evening. Critics have questioned why such a high-profile figure, known to be under immense media scrutiny, was not provided with adequate protection. This lapse in security has led some to speculate that it was intentional, allowing the tragic events to unfold without interference. The ripple effects of Diana's death continue to be felt today, with calls for a renewed investigation into the circumstances surrounding the crash. Her supporters argue that the world deserves to know the full truth, not only to honor Diana's memory, but also to address the lingering doubts that have haunted her legacy for decades. They believe that transparency is the only way to lay the conspiracy theories to rest and bring closure to the millions of people who mourned her loss. As these allegations resurface, they serve as a stark reminder of the enigmatic nature of Diana's life and the profound impact of her untimely death. Whether these claims hold any truth remains uncertain, but they highlight the enduring fascination with a woman whose life and legacy continue to captivate the world. The unanswered questions and unresolved emotions surrounding her death ensure that the story of Princess Diana remains as compelling and controversial as ever. Princess Diana's marriage to Prince Charles began as a modern fairy tale, but quickly unraveled into a story marked by heartache, betrayal, and emotional isolation. From the outset, the relationship was fraught with challenges, many of which stemmed from their significant differences in age, personality, and expectations. Diana, a shy 19-year-old with little experience of royal life, entered the marriage with hopes of love and stability, while Charles, at 32, carried the weight of royal duty and unresolved feelings for his longtime companion, Camilla Parker Bowles. Their courtship was brief and orchestrated under immense public scrutiny. Diana's natural charm and beauty made her an instant favorite with the media, while her aristocratic background and reputation for kindness made her a suitable match for the future king. However, behind the glamorous facade of royal engagements and public appearances, Diana struggled with growing doubts. She later admitted to feeling uneasy even before the wedding, sensing Charles's lingering attachment to Camilla. These doubts were painfully confirmed during their engagement when Charles was asked in an interview if he was in love with Diana. His vague response, "Whatever love means," left her feeling uncertain and deeply hurt. The royal wedding on July 29, 1981, was hailed as the wedding of the century. Broadcast to millions around the globe, the ceremony at St. Paul's Cathedral was a dazzling display of tradition and pageantry. Diana's iconic ivory gown, with its 25-foot train, symbolized the grandeur of her new role. Yet, even on that day, she was reportedly aware of Camilla's presence, not just as a guest but as an enduring shadow over her marriage. Diana later recounted how she discovered a bracelet Charles had commissioned for Camilla shortly before the wedding, engraved with their shared nickname, Fred and Gladys. This discovery left her feeling betrayed before their life together had even begun. As the newlyweds settled into royal life, the cracks in their relationship became more apparent. Diana found the demands of her public role overwhelming, often feeling unprepared for the relentless scrutiny of the media and the rigid expectations of the royal family. At the same time, Charles, accustomed to a structured and disciplined life, struggled to understand Diana's emotional needs. Their inability to connect on a personal level deepened the distance between them, leaving Diana feeling increasingly isolated. The presence of Camilla continued to haunt Diana throughout the marriage. She later described the relationship as a marriage of three people, a poignant acknowledgement of the emotional betrayal she endured. Despite her efforts to win Charles's affection, she felt overshadowed and dismissed. Her mental health began to suffer, and she battled bulimia as a coping mechanism for the stress and feelings of inadequacy. Diana later revealed moments of desperation, including an incident during her pregnancy with Prince William when she threw herself down the stairs in a plea for attention and support. Her cries for help, however, often went unanswered, leaving her feeling abandoned. Diana's struggles were compounded by the rigid protocols of the royal family, which left little room for vulnerability or emotional expression. She found solace in her role as a mother, pouring her love and energy into raising her two sons, William and Harry. Her genuine affection for them stood in stark contrast to the formal upbringing traditionally expected of royal children, and she was determined to give them a more grounded and loving childhood. As her marriage continued to deteriorate, Diana sought fulfillment through her public work. Her compassion and ability to connect with ordinary people earned her the nickname the People's Princess. However, even as she built a global reputation for her humanitarian efforts, her private life remained tumultuous. By 1992, her separation from Charles was announced, and in 1996 their divorce was finalized. The dissolution of their marriage marked the end of a painful chapter, but also the beginning of Diana's journey toward independence and self-discovery. Diana's struggles in her marriage to Charles exposed the challenges of living within the constraints of royal expectations while yearning for personal happiness. Her resilience in the face of adversity, combined with her vulnerability, made her an enduring symbol of grace and humanity. Her story remains a powerful reminder of the complexities behind the crown and the strength it takes to rise above heartache. Princess Diana's role as a global humanitarian transcended her royal status, establishing her as a symbol of compassion and empathy. While her personal struggles often made headlines, it was her unwavering commitment to humanitarian causes that left an indelible mark on the world. Diana's approach to charity was deeply personal, driven by her desire to connect with those in need and to use her platform to amplify their voices. Unlike many royals who maintained a formal distance from their charitable work, Diana immersed herself in these causes, often breaking barriers and challenging stigmas along the way. One of Diana's most groundbreaking contributions was her work with HIV/AIDS awareness during the 1980s and 1990s, a time when fear and misinformation about the disease were rampant. Public figures rarely addressed the issue, and those living with HIV faced intense stigma. Diana's decision to visit AIDS patients, shake their hands without gloves, and offer them comfort was revolutionary. Her actions were captured in photographs that traveled around the world, dispelling myths about how the virus was transmitted and humanizing those affected. Diana once said, "HIV does not make people dangerous to know. You can shake their hands and give them a hug. Heaven knows they need it." Her efforts not only raised awareness but also redefined the role of public figures in addressing controversial issues. Diana's humanitarian focus extended beyond health crises. Her campaign against landmines remains one of her most iconic efforts. In January 1997, she visited Angola with the International Red Cross, walking through active minefields while wearing protective gear. These images, broadcast globally, highlighted the devastating impact of landmines on civilian populations, particularly children. Diana's visit brought critical attention to the issue, leading to international pressure for change. Just months after her death, the Ottawa Treaty banning landmines was signed, a testament to her influence. Although she did not live to see the treaty come into force, her advocacy played a pivotal role in its success. Diana's humanitarian work also included efforts to support the homeless, the elderly, and children in need. She was a patron of numerous charities, including Centrepoint, a UK-based organization that provides support to homeless young people. Her visits to shelters and direct engagement with those affected by poverty demonstrated her belief in the dignity of every individual, regardless of their circumstances. Diana once remarked, "Nothing brings me more happiness than trying to help the most vulnerable people in society. It is a goal, and an essential part of my life, a kind of destiny." Her approach to charity was deeply personal. She often took time to learn about the lives of those she helped, listening to their stories and offering words of comfort. This level of engagement set her apart from many public figures, as she prioritized human connection over protocol. Diana's ability to make people feel seen and valued earned her the nickname the People's Princess, a title that reflected her genuine care for the marginalized and overlooked. Diana's humanitarian work was not without challenges. Her high-profile involvement in controversial causes sometimes drew criticism from traditionalists within the royal family and political circles. Yet, she remained steadfast, using her influence to push boundaries and shine a light on issues that others avoided. Her willingness to stand up for what she believed in, even at personal cost, made her a powerful advocate for change. Her untimely death in 1997 left a void in the humanitarian world, but her legacy continues to inspire. Organizations she supported have grown, and her sons, Princes William and Harry, have carried on her charitable mission. Diana's impact endures not only in the causes she championed, but also in the way she reshaped the role of royalty, proving that influence and compassion could create meaningful change. Her story serves as a reminder of the power of empathy and the difference one individual can make in the world. The fatal car crash that claimed the life of Princess Diana on August 31, 1997, remains one of the most tragic and controversial moments in modern history. That night, Diana, her companion Dodi Fade, their driver Henri Paul, and bodyguard Trevor Rees-Jones attempted to evade relentless paparazzi as they left the Ritz Hotel in Paris. What began as an effort to protect their privacy ended in a devastating accident in the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, shocking the world and leaving a legacy of unanswered questions. The evening began with Diana and Dodi dining at the Ritz, a hotel owned by Dodi's father, Mohammed Al Fayed. The couple sought a quiet evening away from the public eye, but photographers had gathered outside, eager for any glimpse of the pair. In an effort to avoid the growing crowd, Henri Paul, the hotel's acting head of security, planned an alternate exit. Diana and Dodi left through the back entrance, entering a black Mercedes-Benz S280 while a decoy car was dispatched from the front. The decision to flee quickly turned perilous. As the car sped through Paris, the paparazzi followed on motorcycles and in cars, determined to capture images of the princess and her companion. Witnesses later reported that the photographers were aggressive, using flash photography even as the car accelerated. In the chaos, Henri Paul drove at an alarming speed, reportedly over 65 mph, far above the tunnel's speed limit. As the Mercedes entered the Pont de l'Alma tunnel, the situation spiraled out of control. The car collided with a concrete pillar, crumpling upon impact. Dodi Fade and Henri Paul were killed instantly, while Diana, though critically injured, was found alive by first responders. Trevor Rees-Jones, the only survivor, was severely injured and left unconscious with no memory of the crash. Emergency responders arrived within minutes and worked to extract Diana from the wreckage. Her injuries were severe, including a ruptured pulmonary vein and extensive internal trauma. Despite efforts to stabilize her, she succumbed to her injuries at the Petit-Salpêtrière hospital just a few hours later. She was only 36 years old. The initial investigation revealed multiple contributing factors. Henri Paul, it was reported, had a blood alcohol level 3 times over the legal limit. This revelation cast a shadow over the events of the night, suggesting impaired judgment on the part of the driver. Additionally, it was found that none of the passengers, except for Trevor Rees-Jones, had been wearing seatbelts, a factor that significantly reduced their chances of survival. The role of the paparazzi also came under intense scrutiny. While they were initially blamed for causing the crash, investigations concluded that their actions, though intrusive, were not the direct cause of the accident. Nevertheless, public outrage against the media was palpable, as many viewed the photographers' pursuit as a catalyst for the tragedy. Conspiracy theories soon emerged, fueled by inconsistencies in the investigation and allegations from Mohammed al-Fayed, who claimed the crash was orchestrated. These theories speculated about motives ranging from political concerns to personal vendettas, though none were conclusively proven. The aftermath of the crash prompted significant changes in media ethics and the treatment of public figures. The tragedy served as a wake-up call about the invasive nature of paparazzi culture and its potential consequences. Laws were tightened, and discussions about privacy and press responsibility became central topics in the years that followed. Diana's death left a profound impact on the world, uniting people in grief and sparking global reflection on the price of fame. The events of that night, though widely analyzed, remain a source of intrigue and sorrow, with every detail underscoring the fragility of life and the immense loss of a figure beloved by millions. Paul Burrell, Princess Diana's former butler, remains one of the most polarizing figures in the narrative surrounding her life and death. His controversial claims about Diana's fears, private thoughts, and the events leading up to her tragic demise have sparked debate and divided opinion. Known for his close relationship with the late princess, Burrell has positioned himself as a guardian of her legacy, yet his revelations have often been met with skepticism, criticism, and accusations of opportunism. Among Burrell's most sensational claims is the existence of a handwritten letter from Diana, in which she expressed fears that her life was in danger. According to Burrell, the letter described a plot to stage a car accident that would result in her death. Diana allegedly feared that powerful forces sought to remove her because of her influence and controversial relationships. This claim, while dramatic, fueled conspiracy theories about her untimely death, suggesting it was not an accident but a deliberate act orchestrated to protect the monarchy or prevent further embarrassment. Burrell has also provided intimate details about Diana's emotional state during her turbulent marriage to Prince Charles and her life after their separation. He described her as vulnerable yet strong, a woman constantly battling feelings of loneliness while navigating her public role. His accounts of her struggles with bulimia, her strained relationship with the royal family, and her quest for love added depth to the narrative of Diana as a complex, multi-dimensional figure. However, Burrell's decision to share these personal insights has been met with significant backlash. Many members of the royal family and their supporters view his actions as a betrayal of Diana's trust, particularly after he published books detailing their private conversations and moments. Critics argue that his revelations, while compelling, were self-serving and sensationalized, designed to keep him in the spotlight rather than honor Diana's memory. Despite the controversies, Burrell has maintained that his intentions were pure, that he sought to preserve Diana's legacy and reveal the truth about her life and death. His claims, whether accepted or disputed, have undoubtedly kept Diana's story alive in public consciousness, ensuring that the questions surrounding her life and tragic end remain topics of global fascination. Burrell's testimony, though polarizing, offers a deeply personal perspective on one of the most beloved figures of the modern era. Whether viewed as an advocate or an opportunist, his accounts highlight the enduring impact of Diana's life and the unresolved mysteries that continue to surround her death. Princess Diana's legacy remains a powerful and enduring force, resonating across generations and transcending her role as a member of the British royal family. Known as the People's Princess, Diana's life was defined by her compassion, resilience, and willingness to challenge the norms of the institution she represented. Her ability to connect with people on a deeply personal level, combined with her unwavering commitment to humanitarian causes, solidified her place in history as a transformative figure who redefined the role of royalty. One of the most significant aspects of Diana's legacy lies in her humanitarian work. She championed causes that were often overlooked or stigmatized, such as HIV/AIDS awareness and the campaign against landmines. Her decision to engage with AIDS patients at a time when misconceptions about the disease were widespread challenged societal taboos and helped humanize those affected. Similarly, her iconic visit to an active minefield in Angola brought global attention to the devastating impact of landmines, influencing international policy and the eventual signing of the Ottawa Treaty. Diana's impact extended beyond her charitable endeavors. She brought a sense of humanity and relatability to the monarchy, breaking away from its traditional aloofness. Her open struggles with mental health and her candid discussions about the challenges of royal life resonated with millions, creating a sense of solidarity with those who face similar issues. This openness fostered a more modern and accessible image for the royal family, one that emphasized empathy and connection over formality. Her role as a mother further cemented her legacy. Diana's dedication to her sons, Princes William and Harry, was evident in her determination to give them a childhood filled with love, warmth, and a sense of normalcy. She actively involved them in her charitable work, instilling in them a commitment to service that continues to shape their roles today. Through her parenting, she bridged the gap between tradition and modernity, preparing her sons to navigate the complexities of their royal duties while remaining grounded. Even in death, Diana's influence continues to shape the world. Her life inspired a wave of philanthropic initiatives, and her story remains a source of inspiration for individuals advocating for social change. Films, books, and documentaries have kept her memory alive, ensuring that her values of kindness, courage, and inclusivity remain relevant in an ever-changing world. Princess Diana's enduring legacy is a testament to her unique ability to connect with people, her bravery in confronting societal challenges, and her relentless pursuit of a better world. She was more than a royal, she was a symbol of hope, humanity, and the power of compassion, leaving a legacy that will continue to inspire generations to come.